Hello everybody, this is Bev, Clarkovision, and welcome to my latest video, which is, if you've seen the title, you've maybe guessed, I'm going to ramble on here a little bit about live albums, and do I like them or not, because Metal Mickey put out a video, which some of you may have seen not a few days back, and I thought it would be one that I could just respond to via a video myself, because I can just ramble on. So I thought, here we go. And I have some live stuff in my collection, yes, but by no means is it anywhere near the majority. The majority of, I think, probably most people's collections are studio albums, to be honest, but there is a wee drop. So I've pulled some out just to kind of show as we go, and you know, we'll get on with what I've got to say. Now, I haven't rehearsed anything or kind of thought too much about what I want to say. It's kind of up here in my head. I sort of know what I want to say, but it'll just come out as it comes out. So here we go. So the question I think Metal Mickey generally put out was, do you like a live album, or why do most people not like live albums? Well, for me, I like a live album. Obviously, it's usually from my favourite bands that I tend to lean towards the live albums, because I don't think it's essential to have a live album of just anybody. But my favourite bands, then yes, I do like to have some live stuff in the collection. And for me, a lot of that stems way back to the beginning of when I first got into hard rock and metal back in the 80s. So Def Leppard were my favourite band at the time. Hysteria came out in 87. And, you know, and I was quite young then, so I was probably too young to get to go to hard rock and heavy metal concerts. Needless to say, I didn't get to see Steve Clark live, who is my guitar idol. So I missed out on that, and basically, you know, after he'd passed, I wasn't remotely interested in going to see Def Leppard because there was no point. He was Def Leppard for me, so I've never seen them live to this day, and I have absolutely no desire to go anywhere near them today. But when when this was released, this is my original VHS. I climbed up a ladder and dug it out a box. Let's just have a quick look, shall we? I haven't looked at a VHS videotape or held one in my hand for actually a while. So there it is, Channel 5. I've even rewound it to the beginning, see, from the last time I watched it. When this was released, I saw there was an advert on the telly, just, you know, advertising it, and you got a clip or two of the concert footage. And why is this not going to? Because I'm out of practice putting videos in the box. And it looked amazing, you know. I would be, let's see, this came out in 1990, I think. 89, actually. Yeah, 1989. And I got it for Christmas that year, because I pleaded with Mum and Dad, and yeah, it duly arrived, and it was the greatest present for long enough, probably. Because it would mean I'd get to see Steve live, you know, that was the main thing, you know, seeing the whole band, but Steve live, and this in the round, big, massive stage in the middle of the arena, because it was obviously from the American part of the tour, and it just looked so colourful and energetic. and obviously it got a chance for me to see my idol live. So that was my first experience, I guess, of ever seeing a rock band live, was via this video, and I was blown away, as you probably are with your idols. I thought Steve was totally amazing, and just his stage presence, the shape throwing he did with this heavy Les Paul was unbelievable, you know. Because he wasn't a big, muscly, well-built guy or anything like that, but he threw this thing around as if it was made out of feathers or something, this guitar. So I was stunned, and when he died in '91, you know, I was gutted, obviously, and I tried to collect as much live material as I could whenever I saw it. I started learning about this thing called bootlegs. So I found this. This is Stage Fright, which is the soundboard recording of this actual concert. So it's a good audio sound, and it's the entire concert uncut, because there is a few songs, there's about 3 or 4 songs cut from the video that are actually on here as well. So I get even more, albeit just the audio of Steve. So I got that, and I started to hunt down other bootlegs, and I've got quite a few actually of Def Leppard, all Steve Clark stuff, and here's just another couple. Wasted in Seattle, which was the Pyromania tour. So you've got Steve doing his thing on that. It's a double disc, and on disc 2, this is a Japanese issue, I believe. I think it was manufactured in Japan. But on disc 2, after the Pyromania concert, they tag on some crap for 1992, which would be Adrenalize era. So I never listened to that because I'm not interested. So yeah, you get Steve on here, and then I came across this one day, Under Fire. This is an Italian bootleg, excuse me, and it contains the Dortmund Festival from December '83 in Germany, and it also contains the Reading Festival from 1980. And again, really good audio quality. Excuse me. And just to hear Steve through all these different eras of the band's albums, I mean, the guitars sound great. And also, when they released the deluxe version of Pyromania, they put disc 2, they put the LA Forum live show as well from 1983, the Pyromania tour, on there as well. So again, I think I've had a bootleg copy of this somewhere at one point, but because it was released on the official thing, I had to get that, obviously. And what that did for me as well, it kind of exposed me to basically what the band was capable of live. I mean, what I think a live album does is it exposes you a bit to, if you haven't seen the band live, obviously, and I hadn't seen Def Leppard live, it exposes you a bit to what they are capable of doing live, you know, how well they can recreate what they recorded on a studio album in a live situation. And, you know, I was just amazed at the... I'm going to be honest, Steve's guitars and... you know, Phil Collen came along on the Pyromania tour. This was his first stint with the band, who was going on the tour, and if you listen properly and carefully, it has been said that Steve Clark was a sloppy player and Phil Collen was such a technician, and I know who said that, basically. And quite frankly, it's such a loaded drivel. I was really annoyed when I heard that, because you just need to listen to anything from the Pyromania tour to know, to hear basically, that Steve Clark was absolutely precision with his guitar playing, and the sloppy player was Phil. Because Phil Collant is just going at 100 miles an hour, muddying up all the notes, merging them together, playing nothing that makes any sense. And Steve's the opposite of that. He is playing his notes clearly, properly, they ring out. He's not overindulgent. When he does a solo, it's meaningful sounding. And the thing is, as well, Steve was classically trained. A classically trained musician is basically schooled in how to not be sloppy, because classical music, there is no room for sloppy in classical music or classical guitar playing. Basically, that's just something I learned as well, over the course of time. Ask Yngwie Malmsteen, he'll tell you. So that annoyed me, but and it still annoys me to this day, that Steve never gets the credit he deserves. But you can clearly hear who the better guitar player is live. And no, I'm not being biased. I really am not. Honestly, just go and listen. The other thing about this as well, as far as Pyromania is concerned, I prefer listening to the Pyromania songs live rather than the studio album, and the reason for that is because the album was recorded there. It's a drum machine on the album, it's a Moog bass, and the backing vocals are just so polished. So the only thing that's really real, if you like, on Pyromania is the guitars, whereas in live you're getting the songs in their raw live format with real drums, real bass, and unpolished vocals. And to be honest, a lot of the songs live, if you listen to anything live from Pyromania tour or Hysteria tour, there's so much more energy to the songs. Die Hard, The Hunter, for example, on the Hysteria tour is amazing. So that is one reason why I love all the Def Leppard stuff from the Steve Clark era. This came out recently, 2021. This is from the On Through the Night tour with Pete Willis as well. And again, both Pete and Steve are fantastic for their young age at the time. Tremendous. That's just probably one of my favourite live albums, is probably this one, to be honest with you. That's Oxford, 1980. And here's another bootleg, and again, it's quite a good audio sound. This was them, even though that's a Pyromania era photo, this is from, it's either 1979 or 1980. I think it's at the Paris Theatre in London. So again, it's early stuff. And this one I had to get because why did I get this? Yes, because this is recorded in my hometown on the Hysteria tour. Although this is an audience recording, therefore the sound quality isn't as good as the other bootlegs I've just shown. It kind of means something to me because it's from the Edinburgh Playhouse, and Steve was there in my town playing on this kind of thing. So that's why I have that. So I have other Def Leppard live stuff as well, but this video would be ridiculous, and I don't want to kind of bore you too much. But so basically Steve got me mostly into the live thing, to be honest with you. But over the course of time, just before I move on for Def Leppard, I will say that I don't listen to the Def Leppard stuff too often now. I've got to be in the mood for it, because to be honest with you, sometimes might sound stupid to you, but it's painful for me at times to listen to Steve Clark stuff, because just knowing he's not here kind of thing, and what could have been, blah blah blah. So I've really got to be in the mood nowadays. But you know, when I do listen to it, I usually enjoy it thoroughly, and it just reminds me of just a great time in my past, and excuse me, and you know, and just what great guy he was and all that. So anyway, so that's basically kind of a couple of reasons why I like live albums, because sometimes I think it just exposes you to what the band's like live in a live situation as opposed to the studio, and you can get a sounding raw sound to the songs. Obviously, a studio album is particularly done in a studio environment. You know, it's meant to be recorded perfectly, if you like, which is why you can retake this and redo it and redo it and redo it till you're satisfied, if you want, you know. So the other thing, Steve will tell you himself, or he would have told you, he used to say himself in an interview once, you know, the whole live situation, you can be a bit more spontaneous with your playing. You don't have to play exact note for note what was on the records, therefore you can use your creativity, which he did that at times as well, you know, and it was like it just rolled off the cuff for him. He was really good at that sort of thing. If you haven't seen Steve live or heard him live, get onto YouTube and do some live Def Leppard from the Clark era. So other stuff Metal Mickey mentioned in his video as well, and I thought I would put this one out, about all the bands, you know, during COVID, how they all recorded a pandemic album in front of nobody kind of thing, because everybody was stuck indoors. And he thought that was kind of stupid, and I've got to agree with him. It was. I quite agree. It's really stupid. Every band and their dog basically jumped on the bandwagon there. No pun intended, or pun intended. But I specifically wanted to get this. I picked it up because it's UDO, and I like Dirk Schneider and UDO, and I thought, I just wanted to have that because it was, for me, marking a moment in the history of time. You know, in 50, 100 years' time, when someone else has this record collection after me, they'll be like, oh yeah, they'll come across this. Remember, that was the time when there was that plague or whatever, and everybody was locked inside, and this was one of those concerts from that time where they didn't have an audience. You know, I kind of just wanted it for basically the historical factor, you know, that moment in history of time where we were all under the thumb of COVID-19. So that's really why I've got that. And to be honest with you, I've not even listened to it yet, but I wanted to get it, so I will get to it at some point. But I'm going to just run briefly now through some other live stuff and tell you what some of my favourites are at the end, apart from Def Leppard. So I have another UDO. This was his orchestral one that he did with the German, was it the Air Force or the Army or something like that? I don't know. But he's kind of done this with the orchestra, so it's got that kind of orchestral classical vibe, and really good. I enjoy this as well. I have another live one. This is quite recent too. Doro's release from, what date have we got here? 2021. Triumph and Agony live. So this is Doro doing a lot of stuff from the Warlock days live. This is a nice listen. Really quite enjoyable. I have Thin Lizzy live, which I'm really going to spin this soon again, because is this one of the ones that has the late John Sykes on it? So yeah, he's on here as well. So I'm going to get this spun again soon. But yes, again, another band that I think were strong live. another live album, which I think is terrific. Again, another band that I really enjoy live is Big Country, or did enjoy live. Again, Big Country are a band where this guy was really important, Stuart Adamson. He's passed now as well, and to be honest, I feel Big Country are not the same band anymore. It's just some bands, when a member dies, I can listen to still, and some bands I have a hard time with because they're just not the same band kind of thing. It depends on the importance of the band member, I think, or what they put into the band creatively, or if they're a distinct vocalist or frontman or whatever. But so yeah, this is live from 1993, I think it was initially. This came out in 2021 as well. It's a great listen. And so CDs now. So I've got CDs, and then I've got CDs with an accompanying DVD, so you get the visual, and DVDs with accompanying CD, so you get the audio. So again, I have more Big Country from Rock Palast, 86 and 91. This is a 5-disc set. Hammerfall's 20th anniversary box came with the original album, the remastered album, and a live show, One Crimson Night. It is just audio, it's a CD. More audio. We have Blazing Stone, Live in the Dark, brilliant band. I've got one here from Magnum. This is Wings of Heaven live. Sorry about the glare. This was recorded in 2007/8. Another, I got a bootleg. This came through Jim Davies, and it's excellent. It's from oh god, it's 1983, I think it is. Yeah, the Texas Broadcast, 1983. It's good audio sound. It was a radio broadcast. So it would be, is it the Screaming for Vengeance kind of time, that sort of time roughly. I've got Gamma Ray, Skeletons in the Closet. This is a really good live album as well. It's a double disc. Blind Guardian, triple disc, Live Beyond the Spheres. Excellent, just really good live stuff again. I've got Pretty Maids, Alive at Last, and this is from 2003. Another Pretty Maids, made in Japan. This is this was for, what was it, the 30th anniversary of Future World, I think it was. Yes, because it says it on the back here. 30th anniversary CD/DVD. So the DVD is not a live show, it's bonus features like interviews and promo videos and stuff. So it's just the audio live show, which it's a really good one as well. Another bootleg from one of my favourite bands, Iron Maiden, The Beast in Stockholm. This is from the June 2003, so this would be around what's the one with the cover that everybody hates? I like the album. I can't even believe it. What's the name of that album? Anyway, that one. So again, it's a radio broadcast. Excellent listen. Iron Maiden are one of my favourite bands, right? So I'm going to pick up a lot of their live stuff. So I've got Rock in Rio. I've only had this for about a year or so, I think. Rock in Rio. Book of Souls live chapter. Legacy of the Beast, Mexico. This one, Gotthard. This is a CD plus a DVD. You get the DVD in with it. Running Wild, when they re-released Ready for Boarding, they put on the Death or Glory tour from 1989 footage, which is DVD, so that's good. Live After Death, an absolute peach of a live album. But two of my favourite Iron Maiden lives actually are these two, believe it or not. Now I know it's not one single concert, it's tracks from different shows on the tour. But this one I got first, and I got this one after it. These were the two first kind of live, if you like, discs of Iron Maiden, live material from Maiden that I actually got. And again, I just loved it. It was great. Same thing as Def Leppard. Loved hearing the band's live versions of the tracks. Just that difference in the rawness and the energy that you kind of get with them. Not every track live sounds better than the studio version, I think. And again, not every studio track sounds better than the live, if you know what I mean. It kind of varies, but I always like to hear just, the difference and again, and what they're like in a live setting. So I have listened to these two quite a lot. I used to lie in bed at night sometimes when I couldn't sleep and put these on. So these are excellent. And the other Maiden one that I have is this one, made in England, 88, on the Somewhere in Time tour. So here is the CDs with DVDs. Oh no, we're still on CDs basically. But this one, let's just forget it. This is a CD live. No, it isn't. This is our studio album, right? But it's the tour edition of the studio album. It's Return to Forever. And you have two live DVDs accompanying the album, CD album. So that's what that one is. I've got a CD here, which I've had for quite a long time. Heart, Rock the House live, brilliant live show. And that came out in 1991. Another Pretty Maids live. It Comes Alive. This was recorded in Switzerland, so you've got double CD and bonus DVD of the live show. And to be honest, I've not watched the live video part of it yet. I have another couple of UDO or Dirk Schneider's. This is Dirk Schneider live Back to the Roots Accepted, and he does a whole load of Accept stuff. So you've got CD and DVD here. And as UDO, this is the Navy Metal Night, where again he does the kind of orchestral thing with the Navy. Double CD and DVD. I've not watched that one yet either. There's a lot of stuff I've got here where I've not actually got around to watching with the DVD part or the Blu-ray part. So my actual Blu-rays or DVDs, I have Angra, these guys from, is it Brazil these guys are from? I think they're from Brazil. And this was recorded in 2013. It's the band's 20th anniversary, I believe. Really good stuff. Running Wild, the final Jolly Roger, when they were supposed to be finishing up. That was in 2009. This is a DVD. This one I've not watched yet either. This is a double CD and a Blu-ray. Hammerfall, Live Against the World. Still to see the video part of it. Sabaton, this was live out of Wacken. 20th anniversary show from, does it say what? I'm sure it says. Came out in 2021, so it was Wacken. I think it was 2019 was the show. I can't remember. Anyway, Sabaton. And it's live at Wacken. Brilliant band. I've also got Nightwish, End of an Era. So I've got the DVD and double CD. Avantasia. I was so chuffed to grab this. The Flying Opera. This was hard to find. So this is the live show. It's, yeah, you've got DVD and CD set in here. It's got kind of two booklet type things in here. And you've got the DVD of the live show, and you've got like a movie of them touring on this tour, and then discs 3 and 4 are the audio versions. Again, this is really good. I wish Avantasia would release something live from the Moonglow tour, because that is one of my favourite albums of all time. And the last one I'm going to show here is this one, Delane, which I got from Matt Weir. Excellent. And this is CD and the DVD Blu-ray of Live at Paradiso. Yeah. So that's just a big selection. So you could say, yes, I like the live album. I very much, I don't have anything against them, and particularly of my favourite bands. You notice there, I've got quite a few, obviously, from Iron Maiden. I've got Judas Priest, I've got Running Wild and UDO. These are all some of my favourite bands. And finally, I can't believe I've rambled for half an hour here, do you know that? So 3 of my favourites, oh my goodness. Right, I'm going to say 3 of my favourite live albums, aside from, sorry about this, I'm just grabbing this record I put over here. Aside from Live After Death, which is one of my favourite albums, but not my top 3, I don't think. This is one. So yeah, Def Leppard 1980. Ready for Boarding is one by Running Wild, particularly the Death or Glory video part. Absolutely love that. And this is definitely one of my favourite live albums of all time. Made in Switzerland, live in Zurich. This band, again, the original singer, Steve Lee, he's passed on, and although the other guy that's replaced him is good, it just doesn't feel the same band. But God, Steve Lee had some pipes on him. Fantastic live show. So yeah, that is 3 of my favourites. And I think we've had enough rambling, so there you go. That was just a wee video on live albums and some of the stuff I've got, and kind of why I like them, sort of thing. Right, I'll speak to you all in another video. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye now.